All right, hi everyone. I'm Public Access Coordinator Phil Healy from NORCAM, and I have a great special guest, a couple of special guests today from ABCD, an organization that helps out all types of people throughout the greater state of Massachusetts. And with me I have Andrea Mendoza and Eric Mitchell.
That's right.
Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. So, as we were kind of talking pre-interview here, we were going over like what programs you guys run. And first I want you guys to introduce yourselves, and then we'll go right into the programs you guys offer to the public. So Andrea, if you could please.
Thank you. So my name is Andrea Mendoza, and I'm the fuel coordinator for ABCD's Malden Fuel Assistance Office.
And my name's Eric Mitchell, so I'm the transition manager for the ABCD programs in Malden. It's the Mystic Valley Opportunity Center. And the reason for that, the transition manager, is we are new into the Tri-City area, the greater Tri-City area. And so as we are incorporating our services, working with Andrea and her team with fuel assistance, we are still establishing our presence within the community.
Oh, lovely. So let's, thank you for that. Andrea, let's go to fuel assistance. Like, what does that entail and what's that program all about?
Absolutely. So fuel assistance is about assisting families that are income eligible with their heating costs during the winter season. Our program is open from November 1st through April 30th, which means that the season is open and we're now accepting applications for those that are interested. The program we run from Malden serves various communities, so anyone that's interested can contact our office for either an appointment in the Malden office or in one of our surrounding cities where we visit once a month. The program helps with a portion of the heating costs during the winter season, and what households need to do is call us for an appointment. What we do is we would determine the eligibility based on household size and income. So the program is for individuals or families of various sizes. I'll give you a couple of examples.
Please.
For an individual, you can earn up to $33,126 and still qualify for assistance. Or a family of four could have $63,704 and still qualify for benefits. So it's a little bit of a medium or higher income than some of the other programs that are out there. And the highest benefit that a family can get right now, or an individual, is $900. So it's pretty generous
That's
to
substantial.
us as the help.
Yeah, no, it's very substantial and very, it's a great program because as we've all seen ads on television about necessarily helping out people in need, especially during our very cold winters. And if anything, like last year as a parent, with, not just heating, but just like light going on and everything, and the bills pile up, especially if you're a family trying to keep warm in New England.
That's right.
So those numbers are, what was it again, just the highest is 63 for four family?
63, yeah, 704 for a family of four.
Family of
and
four.
then individual would be 33,126.
Oh, great. And you said the highest was 900.
$900 is
But
the highest.
it varies. Yeah.
Yes, so it's based on the household size and income.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes sense, yeah.
people can call us up and we can give them a better idea depending, based on their household.
Which is probably the best idea, is to call, because the staff have such a great knowledge around, not just the numbers, but and the eligibility. There are nuances to it that it's hard to convey to someone, right now, just to tell them and expect people to remember. And so the best bet really is to call and speak to someone. For example, Andrea, you might talk about what's covered.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, the fuel assistance program isn't just for assisting with heat. Certainly that's the main reason that one would apply, is to get assistance with their heating bills, but it's a gateway program. So what that means is that once a person qualifies for the heating assistance, they have access to other energy programs, like the discounted rate, which gives families a discount rate on their utility bills. And that's for 12 months, so it goes past the heating season. It's for a full year. In addition to that, we also have the Weatherization Program, which does, at no cost to the client, home insulation And that's for renters and owners.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
a very good distinction. My follow-up was going to be, do you have to own that house? Or no, good.
No, I mean, the owners have to be on board, but
Yeah, of course, yeah.
yeah.
Now, who wouldn't want to get some insulation to help manage costs, right?
Yeah, and do you actually, as kind of a side question, do you have landlords or owners who come to you and be like, hey, we want to get involved with it, who aren't necessarily, you know, part of a family, but like, hey, we rent out to low-income families, we want to try to get in on this. Is there any
Yes.
kind of, yeah? Oh, okay.
Yep.
So it's the same kind of
Yep. We would want to reach
application.
out to the tenant, make
Okay.
sure they want to apply for the program, and you know, talk to them, and then get the ball rolling there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yep. In addition to the insulation program, we also have an energy audit or electrical audit, where an auditor would go out to the home and determine the electric efficiency of that home, and possibly replace major appliances like refrigerators or air conditioners. So that's another big energy saver and cut costs for the household.
Yeah,
there.
and that's 12 months as well?
Yes.
Wow. And
So-
like Eric was mentioning earlier, giving a call, and this same hotline will be able to help you. Is it a hotline or just a general office line?
Well, it's a general office line, but you
Yeah.
can call it a hotline
I
because
would
it's going
love
to
to
help you
call
get
it.
hot.
Yeah, I would love to call it the hotline, and I have already branded it, and it is trademarked. No, that's fantastic, because you need to kind of inspect and go through, navigate through those waters, because it's tough. And some people, you know, too prideful to do it as well, and that's kind of, I find that is a big thing as well. Do you come across, like, do you also have like some counseling in that regard, or is that kind of a different?
Yep. So the
deal.
counseling is pretty much, you know, on that first phone call. A lot of people call and they say, you know, I've never had to ask for help before, and but I really need it.
Yeah.
And so they're at that point, and you know, we don't judge anybody that comes to the door, because this assistance is out there for anybody that needs it. And if you qualify, we're going to do our best to help you. So what we would say is, you know, even if you think about it, that you think you might need it, you're not sure, give us a call and we'll have that conversation with you and let you know, what we can do to help. If it's not fuel assistance, it could be something else that you need, and, Eric will touch base on those programs. But this is definitely a program that can help the household overall. In addition to the weatherization and the discount rates, we have a heating system repair and replacement program. So, for homeowners or tenants, that have issues with their heating system, we can talk about those issues and help with that. Or if you are carrying a past due balance, a high past due balance on your utility bills, there's an affordable plan called the Arrears Management Program that the utility offers to people who qualify for our program. And in essence, it'll wipe out that debt. So those are things that people should call about if
That's
they're
astonishing.
interested.
And so
Yeah.
that's why I say, unless you're at home writing all of this down,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily going to remember it all. If you remember the phone number and remember that it's more than just one thing that is being offered. It could help with your electric, it could help with your heating, or your furnace, or your insulation, or your back balance. There's a lot there, and the best place to get all of that clarified is to call.
Oh, lovely. And sorry to put you on the spot, but do you know the number offhand? Well, you can always have a scroll, but if you don't know the number offhand,
Well, I'm sure
that's fine.
Andrea knows the number offhand.
Oh my! Oh, well, then now you're putting her on the spot.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, I do know the number, and I'm actually going to review the cities and towns that we serve at the Malden
Please,
office,
yeah.
if that's okay. So we serve the cities of Malden, Medford, Everett, Woburn, Winchester, Stoneham, and Melrose.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if you live in any of those communities, you can call 781-322-6284. And that's our office number. We can book you an appointment, like I mentioned earlier, either at our Malden office, or we visit most of those communities once a month to take applications there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Where do
it
you-
might be closer.
Where do you usually go when you take
Mostly to the
applications?
senior centers.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good. Actually, we were talking taping about how around here we're right next to the senior center. We deal a lot with them. Right. We hear a lot actually from Mystic Valley. We have a lot of representatives that come up there and give a lot of speeches. And so being in North Reading and other surrounding towns, and this might be an Eric question, or both of you can chime in, of course, but out of that purview of those towns you mentioned, what would someone have to do, or is there other opportunities?
Yep, there's the Massachusetts Heat Line.
Okay.
So because this is, a statewide program, so there's an agency that will serve you, and you just need to call that line and find out which agency it is, and it's 1-800-632-5 blank.
Yeah. No, you did impress me when you were bringing up. I'm like, oh, she's got it.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we will find that.
But the short answer is,
I know what
that
it is.
notwithstanding, the towns that are covered, we don't expect the residents to know that and to remember it. So that if families need help, we want families to feel comfortable placing the call, because one thing that we do know is that we're going to treat them with compassion, we're going to treat them with great service, and we're going to do our best to find out if the service isn't something that we can give them directly, how can we indirectly help them to get out of this situation? And there's no one great answer for every family. Every situation will be somewhat different, whether the community is different or the need is different. Whatever that is, we just want them to know that we're there to help. And so ABCD, we are newer in the Malden, Medford area. I call it north of the Zachem Bridge area.
Yeah.
We're newer here, but we've been around and doing our work, in the Boston area and then outside of Boston, depending on our program, but for over 50 years.
Wow.
And so our mission is working with low-income families and helping them to improve their situation, to do it, with our help, but, a lot for themselves. And that is what we're here for. And so while we may be new to the community or new to that resident, that's fine. It's okay that they haven't applied before. Many people haven't. We want them to get whatever help they can get and to improve their situation. And if they don't need us the next year, that's great too.
No, and that's you touch on a great compassion, great sense, and this is all rooted in that feeling, and being confidential.
Right.
Enough so, like you were bringing up.
Very much so.
Earlier, Andrea, and Eric, you too, obviously. You want people to feel comfortable coming to you. And that's kind of, I think that is one, people being too prideful, like we were talking earlier, but just, getting over that first hurdle and having people being able to talk to you over the phone, have that compassion, have that kind of voice. And maybe warmth or heat, that's the word of the day here or for this discussion, but the warmth of another human being trying to help another person find.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, no, that's you get 50 years, wow. That's crazy.
One thing that we know from our experience is that when you are eligible for one program, you may be eligible for another program because problems don't come in isolation.
No, this is true, yeah.
If you need assistance, it's okay to ask for assistance, but it also suggests that there might be other things that you could get assistance with. And so that's part of what the staff try to do. They try to determine, you're here for fuel assistance, but you might also be eligible for something else. So particularly in these areas, childcare, if childcare is an issue, our Head Start program that we've operated for 50 years again is prenatal up through age 4 for childcare. And so that's something that we have in the Tri-City area. So we have locations in Medford and in Everett. And it's something that's available for families, even if they live not necessarily in those towns, but in some of the other towns, Melrose, I know, for example. And so we wouldn't know that if you didn't say something, or when you sit down with us, you say, oh, what's going on, here's what's happening. And then in the course of conversation, I might see from your documentation that you have children. Are your children in childcare? No, they're at home with my aunt, with my sister, with my cousin. Maybe you should apply for a Head Start program. Let me help you do that.
Oh, that's fantastic. And can you expand a little on the other child care stuff? Like, what does that entail? Like, what is, the parameters for it?
Well, the program, Head Start, it's an income eligible program as well, and it's designed to ensure that low-income children receive an extremely qualified start before they get into school. And so, literally Head Start. And so it's not just a great child care education, but also making sure that some of the other things, as we talk about, nothing is in isolation, make sure that their health and well-being are taken care of, that their nutritional needs are taken care of. We generally, our history is that we provide most of our meals from scratch, so 2,200 meals in the Boston area, prepared from scratch every day. And so that's, 2 meals a day plus a snack 5 days a week. And so that's the level of commitment and dedication that we have. When we do it, we do it completely. And so that same program for, you're talking about pregnant and parenting moms, early Head Start, which are infants and toddlers, which is a great need now. Everyone is looking for an infant and toddler program. But those are the things that we want to make sure, not, everyone wants and needs great child care. Low-income families tend to have a harder time of that, and so that's what our programs are there for.
Especially if people don't have as close of a family, because it does take, I don't have kids of my own, but I'm an uncle, a crazy uncle, mind you, that my brother and sister have kids, and it really is like it's a village. It really is that saying, as cliche as it is, a village to raise a child. And if you don't have that, you need that support system. If you don't have that family, be it economically or like hard bodies to be there. And actually, you brought up like prenatals. So that's another big thing too, because I don't hear that a lot as far as child care goes, because it's kind of like, because that's when both the carrier of or the person, the woman who's pregnant, needs as much nutrition,
support and guidance as much.
Yeah, and then that's gravely important. So do you guys work with? You were talking about providing meals for all these programs. Do you work for the food bank in Boston, or do you work with the food bank in Boston at all? Or?
So the short answer is yes.
Okay, fair enough.
In our history, we provide or we work in so many different areas that have to do with supporting low-income families. And so that includes food access. So we operate food pantries, we operate high schools in addition to our child care, and our urban college is a 2-year institution in Boston for working adults to go back and continue their education.
That's awesome.
And we have senior services. We specialize, if you will, in working with low-income families where they are to get to where they want to go.
Nice. No, that's amazing, and that's pretty important. And any website, what would you recommend? Where would you want someone to go besides the hotline?
Well, our website, bostonabcd.org, has all of that. It has all of our locations. It has us in Malden, the Mystic Valley Center, and all of the numbers that anyone is looking for would be there to call and ask questions specifically about fuel assistance or any other services. For example, we're going into tax preparation season.
Oh, that's actually, you did mention that earlier. I wanted you to,
We have been working to provide free tax preparation assistance for low-income families for over a decade.
Wow.
And the idea behind that is, one, you're low income, we don't really want you to have to pay someone to prepare your simple return. Secondly, we want to make sure that you may likely qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Okay. And so years ago, a move was generated to ensure that families were able to claim the credit. The credit had been on the books for some time. Families weren't really aware of it and hadn't been taking advantage of it. And so let's help you take advantage of it and let's not charge you to do so.
Yeah.
And so that, just checking the box for the Earned Income Credit, Earned Income Tax Credit on a tax return has a significant difference in how much someone's refund will be.
No, that's great too, because even speaking personally, dealing with taxes and just trying to get through the nooks and crannies, it's difficult. It's just trying to find anything to get back, because there are so many programs and so many, whether you want to call it programs or incentives, that so many people can be taking advantage of.
And people generally have a lot of questions about whether I should file, how should I file, where where do I file, are you doing it electronically? So all of those questions, we work with the IRS and the local coalition. There's usually more than just us. There's a coalition of agencies that are working to provide low-income tax preparation. And so as a part of the coalition, we make sure that we train staff, we train volunteers in conjunction with the IRS. So it's IRS certified.
Oh,
so it's a thorough training.
Books, yes.
It's a thorough training. Everything is completed, reviewed again. We electronically file. We double check and make sure it was received, and people will receive their funds, refund if they get one, and almost as if they had gone somewhere to a pay preparer. And so the level of service is very high, and the level of preparation is extremely high as well.
No, that's great. And are the same qualifications for application that of the fuel assistance?
They're
kind of?
similar.
They're similar.
They're
Yeah.
similar. The income guidelines will be slightly different. They're determined by the coalition and the IRS, and so for a household, the numbers are more in the $50,000 range as opposed to what Andrea would have quoted earlier. But again, the easiest thing is to call,
There you go.
because then, as people know, tax law changes,
Yeah.
and so because we work with the IRS, we get the latest updates. You know, if there's an update from one week to the next, we get those updates and make sure that all of our staff and all of our volunteers are aware of it so that we make the necessary adjustments. And so we don't want someone to hear what we said today. 2 weeks later it's changed, but they don't know that there's a change afoot. And so they should call. We do have a different number. You know, the fuel number gets you directly to the fuel staff. If you want to talk to staff about any of our other programs, you will call 781-321-3431.
That's right in Malden.
And that is right in Malden. So we are all in Malden. Our base operation north of Tuzacum
No,
is in Malden.
Yeah.
And so we are there, and we work together. And so you will have families that are completing a fuel assistance application and need other services, and their team will send them to another section of the building where they can sit down with us and talk through what their current challenges may be.
Yeah, that's great, and that's actually pretty comprehensive as far as going there and figuring out what you need. And it seems like the staff is pretty bent in a positive sense in getting those people and getting the people in, diagnosing what could help them, and getting them that help. So, is there anything else you'd like to add about the who you're working with and the associated programs, or?
Well, we have a range. I talked about some of the programs, and those are the ones that I think are probably most relevant. But any low-income family that is struggling should go to our website or call and ask. And that would really be the easiest way. If I rattle off 15 or 20 of the programs that we operate, I don't want someone to feel like they have to try and write all that down. I want them to know that it's bostonabcd.org. They have, one or two phone numbers that they might contact, the one that Andrea mentioned, the one that I mentioned, or if all else fails and they happen to walk in, we will handle it there. But we like to save someone time and gas, and money is not something we want folks to waste. But a call or just check the website will get them most of the information. And I would add, because we're in the winter, we do have a winter emergency campaign. We are making sure that we collect resources and try and redistribute them to those that need it. And I know Andrea had the information. You want to go with that one?
Sure.
If I go with it, I have to read it.
Sure. So if anyone is interested in donating to our campaign, you can get more information on the website, which is bostonabcd.org/give. Or you can call the Give line. And the phone number there is 617-348-6559.
And any amount is welcome.
Please.
Absolutely.
Lovely. And I'm sure you guys collect food and everything else. You can find out more on that website.
You can.
Yeah. All right.
You can.
Well, guys, thank you. Unless there's anything else you'd like to mention, I thank you for being here. It was
we really
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. So spread the word out there, everybody, and check. Was it abcd.org or is it Boston ABCD?
Boston ABCD.
Boston ABCD.org. Thank you very much. And check online and please give generously and call them and see if you're in need or you qualify. And from there, thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Eric. And find out more online.